So, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we're talking about very special topic, which is the continuation of the Tantric RIZZ workshop series. And today I'm going to be teaching you about how to be effortless, also known as limitless, also known as filterless, okay? Now, a lot of the times we speak with a filter in mind, right? Like we're trying to speak to one person in a group instead of the entire group. Keeping everybody also the equal level of importance, right? When you're speaking in a group of people, you give everybody some eye contact. You don't just zoom one person out, because then you're creating like this segregation of this you and this one person, and you're pedestalizing them over the others, right? And so when you're communicating with one, you are communicating with all. That's the first primary principle that I want you to understand. When I'm communicating with my one friend, I'm also communicating with the entire room, actually, okay? There might be girls seated on the other side. There might be a grandpa in the corner getting a drink. There might be, random like sounds coming from over there, right? It doesn't matter. What I'm having, and again, this is why also your speech is important. A lot of people, when they start out and they're very shy, you get drowned out by the noise of the club or the environment or the bar, wherever you are at, right? You get drowned out by the sound of what's going on around you. Now, oftentimes I've noticed, especially in very loud environments, it's more so about your body language than anything else. It's not really about what you're saying, but how you're holding yourself, like what kind of a character would behave like that or say that. So when you become filterless, you actually create a halo effect for yourself, right? Because a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And especially we live in a very politically correct world nowadays. It sounds weird to say be yourself, right? Because you're like, but also if I do that, I might get canceled or banned or whatever, you know? So people have this sense of like, oh man, censorship is gonna crush me or crumble me, right? I have to be like this. And then we get this aggravated superego, right? This voice in the head of, is this right or is this wrong? Is this cool or is this not cool? So that voice starts to take over the initial ego, the identity framework, in a social environment like that. But with the Tantra, you're merging with the environment. You're not creating separation. You get what I mean? Like a lot of people, when they walk into an environment, they immediately create a sense of separation. But also, you're not the one who's just being pushed to talk all the time, okay? You are freely expressing yourself because you have to allow the energy flow to flow, right? Even in a conversation or anywhere, right? This could be in a business context, this could be in a romantic context, it doesn't matter. You have to understand where that charisma is being activated and actively being suppressed by others. There's suppressors in the environment at times who have antisocial traits. Okay, antisocial means I'm going to distance myself from this. I'm going to resist this conversation. I'm going to not involve myself. I'm going to be like, not an active participant, but like a guy holding a drink, sitting and judging everyone, right? Which creates a very weird spiral, negative downward spiral headspace as well, right? So any kind of connectivity, immediately once you reach a social venue anywhere, any form of connectivity, it will already demonstrate that your energy body, right, how you're flowing, how you're feeling, is going to emanate and touch everybody around you. So when you create a good vibe, you're like, oh, what's up, man? You fist bump the what? The bouncer, the security guard. Immediately, first point of contact, and he does it back, boom. Build rapport, entire club has seen that. Subconsciously, it's in the environment. Not everybody's like looking at me or whatever, but it's there. The energy, the feeling is there. Well, that's a cool guy, man, right? That energy is there. So it's really about energy maintenance, right? You have to figure out how to calibrate your energy throughout the day, throughout the night, and figure out what moments do I just need to embrace this kind of, oh, okay. That's kind of, okay. Well, that's kind of cute the way you did that, but please continue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just, my My friend's over there having another argument. You know? So as you're maintaining this energy, you've got to really understand, where am I seated? Okay, am I seated near an exit? Am I seated near a movie theater? Where is my location, right? Because my environment, I am my environment pushed out. This is the way that you think. You don't think like a social chameleon. You think of an internal chameleon. And this is one of the secrets that I'm going to pass on to you guys, especially the younger guys watching and learning about this stuff. You've got to be the internal chameleon, which means usually what people do is they'll go to somewhere, let's say they'll go to an environment, right? And then they'll be like, I'm going to try to fit in. Okay? Immediately, they drop their own values, they drop their own principles, they drop whatever it is, and then they go with the whatever is going on in front of them, these people, this environment, and then they drop all that. I'm not saying for you to drop all that. I'm saying to drop within, pull that energy out of you. Because you have this energy that's just naturally very expressive. And you can have this with rapport with a best friend, where you guys are both like in a supermarket, right? And you guys are just like chilling together, you know? In the living room or something, or your bro pad, okay? Everybody needs a bro pad. Yeah, just a group where everybody can come in and collaborate, right? Like minds, spinning the web of manifestation together. That's the vision, right? 30 people watching. Hello, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me see if I can turn on this live chat, man. Live chat is visible now. Cool. So, yeah, man. So to remain filterless, you got to understand where your filters are. Your filters are your conditioning. You get that? Your filters are what society tells you, this XYZ, okay? Now follow the rules of the land, read the disclaimer, okay? Understand what's going on. Don't just randomly get yourself into trouble. But what I am saying is, remain in your character. Remain polarized. Like when I go out, I create a vibe, I create a state within me, you know? And that state within me will start to cause a ripple effect, slowly. It sets off a chain reaction in the mind. You guys get that? Like as soon as you listen to a song, or as soon as you read a specific chapter of a book, or as soon as you watch that anime episode with that particular scene that hits your solar plexus and once gets you to take action, right? Like everybody has these little things, like one scene of a music video that really gets into your subconscious and digs out the most inspired experiences, right? So it's very, very key and very, very important that you can keep this vibe of listening as well as, you know, expressing yourself, instructing something. So it's almost like you're allowing yourself to create a parameter wherever you go. So there's a specific level of your reach, which means that doing something out of the box of that reach, you'll feel a little bit more tension doing that socially. Okay? So you have a social comfort zone, you could say, right? And for me, studying this Tantric Rizz, I've got to understand a way for me to interact with that environment that creates a more an interactivity between my internal and external world. You guys get that? So let's say I sit on the couch, right? I come down, get a drink, whatever. I'm sitting on the couch. Now, what am I thinking? Am I just sitting on the couch wasting time, like just waiting for something to happen, right? Because that's also propagating how my energy will flow. It's almost like the energy is going like this, right? It's always moving. So sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's down in a lower state. But I've got to maintain that rhythm and balance where I'm able to understand that, hey, it may be in this environment, in this interaction throughout this night, there are different seasonal shifts, okay? So it's like winter, summer, spring, fall, all in one, right? All into one context in this nightclub or whatever. So you have to understand that now that I'm here, I'm gonna merge with the environment, okay? I'm not gonna merge with the environment meaning that I'm gonna become like them. I'm going to merge my energy down into the environment so that it can soak up its natural spirit. Okay? So I'm sitting down, and immediately I'm going to ground myself. Wiggle my toes, wiggle my feet. Get my energy that usually goes up here in the head of overthinking, of what to say, what to do, what to have. And bringing it closer to my heart and my heart space, knowing that, you know, again, sometimes your astrology can also set up the different ways with which you engage with this energy flow within. Okay? So I'm a water sign, I can work with the emotions very readily, right? And so if I sense someone is being emotional, you know, it's very interesting because there was a time when I had went out one night with my friends. It was my girlfriend at the time, right? We were all going out. It was a great night. And this one girl, she had kind of an anxiety attack type of episode, like a depression episode. It could have been even. She got very sad very quickly, you know, but because of the character that I knew I was during that time, which is I would still involve myself very much so with positive psychology and healing, right? And so automatically in the group, she was sent to me. Why? Because everybody trusted me that I would know what to do in that situation because of my background, because of my role. You guys see what I'm saying? So in that environment, her emotions were transferred. It's like it's going to transfer onto me, that low state, right? When someone's just like complaining or like, I can never have this and I can never do this, right? That energy. And me as a man, like I as a man or without, you know, it's just like I've got to maintain that polarity, right? I've got to set up that container and be able to actually handle that energy. You see? So maybe she's crying on my shoulder or whatever, and you know, I've got to maintain that bubble, you know. Recently, somebody told me this the other day as well. You're a safe space for me. Like, I really feel like I can be myself around you. I don't have to put on a wall or this fake pretense, right? That's when you know you have real friends, man. When they tell you something that's kind of out of pocket, but you needed to hear it. And you're like, oh, okay, bro, fuck. Okay, oh, you want to fight about it, right? With bros, it's like, let's give ourselves 10 minutes to fight, you know, and then we're going onwards with it, you know. So you want to be kind of strategic about this, but also you just want to have fun, bro. You just want to be able to be filterless, have fun, enjoy yourself, right? You're here not to be like very calculated, overly calculated. It's like, I do have a high calculation, but I'm also very low inhibition, right? In that moment, I'm not like trying to put on more masks or roles or frames when I just know I need to tap into a feeling, right? In that moment, I just need to tap into that feeling of me having succeeded in the past, holding that image in my head. It doesn't even have to be related to that specifically. Let's say you won a trophy, right? You won a championship trophy. You hold that in your mind as you're communicating. It's going to bring out a different glow about you. You guys get that? So you are changing your aura all the time based on your thoughts and your vibration that you're sending out, okay? So your emotions, it starts with your thoughts, it goes into your emotions, and then it manifests through your actions or lack of action, okay? So you want to maintain this stream of thinking that's going on, because it's the thoughts that are actually crippling you. Think about it, right? It's the thoughts in an environment, but can you talk without thinking? That's the secret. You see what I'm saying? Can you talk without thinking? Not in a stupid way, okay? Where you get yourself in trouble, but you guys get what I mean. You empty the mind and then you speak from that place where you're present to the moment. You're not thinking, what am I going to do? What has happened? What's going to happen? How is it going to happen? Okay? That's all the mind. The mind wants to figure that out. But you're there to experience the joy of the moment, and that's why it's a tantric experience, because you're merging and feeling good in yourself. You don't need anybody's validation in that place to feel good about you. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the real superpower stuff kicks in, and you really start to take a solid accountability. You create leverage. You create pockets of leverage in social situations, so you can create that momentum and really feeling good. Now, a lot of the times we can get very much in our heads, right? And that prevents us or limits us or even sometimes siphons our energy. Like, have you noticed this? You have such a dark thought, that it siphons your energy down very low. So you actually have to get to the root cause of that negative belief. Like, why is it so bad to feel like this? What does it mean about me? You know, and do the shadow work and then figure it out, unlock the code, and then start moving forward, right? If you guys have any questions, by the way, let me know in the comments, and give this video a like for the algorithm. Let's get it upward spiraling. So basically you have these 7 chakras, right? These energy centers that you can tap into, but think of them not even as a wheel, but also as a portal, a dimension that you can tap into. So you, in a social environment, can really tap into your sexual energy, but you're choosing not to for fear of being creepy or whatever it is that you have in your mind, right? So you have all these storylines, this past, this, you know, all this stuff coming up. So instead, what do? You focus on the sensations at first. You make it like a meditation. So you're on the dance floor. Really what you're doing is you're meditating on the dance floor. You're regaining your chi again, your prana again. So yeah, you're dancing to the music, but I'm more interested in where my energy is stuck and releasing it as I'm on the dance floor, rather than creating a whole maneuver and like completely letting myself go on the dance floor. I've gotten into that trap as well, man. Right? Like really like letting myself bliss out on the dance floor completely, and then I melt into the music, right? Don't do that either, right? You want to be very pragmatic, but also very, very fluid with this, right? So try to create this energy where even like I'll like fist bump the DJ too, you know? There's an energy of like transference, of energy transference that happens a lot of times, and you'll know someone's negative energy is negatively influencing you. The way you can do this at times is also to change your breath work. So what I've noticed is if I take a deep inhale into my belly, okay, and I hold it there, and I imagine the energy in me rising, like from my chakras, like from my belly up to my throat to express itself, I will notice through that visualization that the energy of this is a what? Is an upliftment. You guys get that? Is an uplifting energy. So I'm going to uplift other people in the environment with me who are communicating with me. Simply because I'm holding that frequency, I'm holding that visualization and that energy of me bringing my energy up to the top, right? To communicate, bringing that gold, right? Hasn't been actualized yet, but it's just sitting there waiting for me to install, to distill it, to create a filter for it until I become filterless. I allow myself to really speak from the heart, speak from the soul, okay? Not coming in here with a huge script and a huge plan, okay? This is what happens, right? Like a lot of guys, okay, you're in a sad state, you're kind of depressed, whatever. Now you have to talk to people. Now it's like, ding, like you put on this fake mask character, right? Like you put in extra energy, like, all right, let's do this thing, baby. Woo, state pump, state pump, state pump. And then you say that one line, okay? This is what most people are actually activating. It's like, now they're relying on this one line, this one pickup line, right? Like, who lies more, men or women, right? That's a very common one. So he's going, who lies more, men or women? She says, men. And she just doesn't reply, right? And then this guy's going, anyway, so what's your name? Wait, what happened there? You got thrown off of your flow. She was the tsunami in the equation. You were not. Okay? But me understanding the tantra of this, it's like, she's giving me something. Even that was a response. You see? So she's actually, for me, if I were to really enter that world, that spiritual world, she's actually opening the door, but on the physical world, it seems like she's closing a door, right? So this is where it's very, very important for you to have discernment. In an environment, if you don't notice and have awareness that there's 2 cups on the table and you go and sit down with that person, it's kind of going to look awkward, like you're stealing someone's chair, even though you didn't intend to. You see what I'm saying? So be very wary of, like, always have an access of your peripherals, okay? This is in whatever you do. Always have an axis of your peripheral. So I always do this exercise where I'm just wiggling my, fingers like this. Even when I'm working, right? So I'm like, I'll sit down on my laptop to work, create something new, some new project, some new, I'll write the Primal Sutra grimoire, right? I'll put in a lot of energy into that task. I'll notice my energy just zooming in like this, right? Instead of what? Me being able to observe what's going on around me in my environment. And that creates a soft gaze, you see? That's the difference between someone who's really intensely looking at you and they're actually fatiguing themselves in that moment, right? If they're intensely looking at you, to a soft gaze where you have an understanding of the entire room, right? And when you're communicating from this place, it's very freeing. Because I don't have some kind of hierarchy, right, in my mind, like this is cool enough to say, this is interesting enough to say, this is dope enough to say. My character's dope. So whatever I'm going to say, I'm going to enjoy, you see. So a lot of people, they have this self-image in their minds that what I say isn't good enough for this group. My opinions don't matter. They have some limiting belief like that. That's why they're, closing themselves up. So you have to observe that, right? And again, I'm glad that one person you're staying because you understand the truth of this all, right? You're sensing it. So give me a like, bro. Okay. If you really get this, it will start to ripple, right? It'll start to create this change. Because now what you can do is, I'm free to be whoever I want to be. It's no more like Sarah won't pay or whatever, like some kind of painting you as the villain or painting you as a specific type of character, right? Have you ever felt special in your group of friends before? Or do you always feel different? My issue is I always felt different, And so that has to do a lot with my core wounding, right? And my traumas. So I understand that. Now knowing that, I can create a new sense of belonging within and create these circles. Okay, can you guys still hear me? Or does this take away the mic too? Okay, let's end this quick, guys. Okay, so yeah, let's end it quicker. But I just wanted to say this because First Amendment, freedom of speech, okay, in the U.S. But then now it's like freedom of speech, but and it creates that little minuscule pocket that people can like find the chink in the armor of that understanding and like not really say what they want. I used to think for the longest time that I couldn't swear, okay, on camera. Still, YouTube doesn't really like swearing too much, and I get that. There's kids watching and so forth, but it's like people are coming to me with the question of like, I'm completely negative, I'm completely stifled in my own reality, I don't know where I'm going. Okay. And then they want some kind of magic pill solution, right? I want to stay my old character, but I want these results that this other character has. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the real understanding of this. Is like, this person has a very specific character that I'm used to. So I'm going to now note what's going on here with this other person. Because their reality, it could be something completely different happening in their minds, right? And I don't know what's going on. I'm just reacting to how they're reacting at times. That's what we do. We as people, we react how we expect others to react at times, right? However, that's not the most helpful dynamic at all. In a situation like that, you're going to have to require yourself to just drop in, as you'd say. In a meditation or a spiritual Sangha community, you say drop in. Drop in just means be present, right? Be grounded in that situation. And a lot of the times we forget to drop in. We live our lives primarily up here in our heady experiences rather than what? Just feeling into it. Feeling it. I have a human body, man. And I have a tree trunk legs that I'm gonna allow myself to pull all of that energy down into my physical body again, so I can maintain that internal body language discipline with myself, you know? So if I want to, let's say there's a couch there, and I want to sit in like a meditation posture there, that could totally be valid for you. But it's gotta feel right. If you do it and you feel hesitant doing it, security, this man can't sit like this, okay, it's gonna cause a bigger problem. Why? Because they're reading your hesitation. They're going off of your value. They're going off of your estimation of yourself, okay? So if you're like doing it and then feeling hesitant as you're doing it, you're sending out a weird signal into the environment, thinking that you don't trust yourself. And so, of course, now you're creating a scenario where others can't trust you. You see? So you're sending out this mirror experience in the mirrorverse, and you're getting it back. Boom. So what do? When I walk in, it's almost like everybody is me. Everybody is a clone of me, okay, in that environment. Everybody is a soul of Uncle Makara. So I see the environment as little bits of me, little parts of me, little characters, little segments, right, little episodes where I'm like communicating with someone and they're not in my reality. Okay, no cameo role in my movie, okay? And I turn my attention away, but now maybe they're pulled towards that energy. Why? Because I'm not so attached to it. Right? I have the willingness to walk away from it. I'm creating these energetic pockets of communication where I'm going. Even when I'm maybe ordering a drink, she senses something different in that interaction. Whereas, let's say I've been there a million times before, right? Let's say I've been to one venue a million times before, and someone says, oh, first time here? This is something that happened to me recently, right? But she was new working there probably. So it was like, I was confronted with that energy of like, oh, have you been here before? Right? No, what was it that she said? She was like, is this your first time, right? First time here? Okay. Now, when I heard that, my mind immediately went to a sexual place, right? Like a sexual innuendo. All right. So, basically, this is how I want to end, okay? Because I'm getting too many calls right now. Hey, I'm a busy man. Okay, busy man. Busy man. He's needed around the world like a superhero, and he can't even make a live video. Okay? So, once you get more engaged with your chakras, once you get really engaged with using, you know what I'm very fascinated about right now is using a spirit guide's energy to help me in a social environment or wherever I'm going, right? Let's say I'm going to work, I have a deity or an entity or a spirit guide that I work with in that environment that helps me be more productive, let's say, for instance. So I set up the parameters that can happen. Oftentimes it's just how you're communicating with your own subconscious. So the best way for the healing to happen is before you sleep. Beware of what you listen to before you sleep. If you're scrolling endless reels and some of them are triggering to you, you are getting that in your subconscious. Now you're getting even more frantic. Okay? So beware of what you're consuming. Even my information. Okay? I understand, I post a lot, but don't overconsume, but understand your own relationship to the information and integrate it through your fresh pair of eyes every time that you live. You know, there's a way to learn that's really beautiful, but you have to allow yourself to really immerse yourself into that. Like really feel into that learning, you know? And it's not just like, oh, I have to get this textbook and like, you know, have it done by this assignment. No, man, this is the way that we live. We learn as we live. You see, we're students of life. And so if you're interested in this path working Primal Sutra, Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. You already know. Share this with a friend who needs to hear this message today. You've got this, we've got this. Upward Spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Us, let's get it. We're all gonna make it. Yeah.